Hey everyone, it's DustyGogoat. I just wrapped up a conversation with two of my best friends from high school. These are Pokemon friends, right? Guys that I grew up playing Pokemon with. And it's 2025. It's the first time we've hung out in the new year. 2025 is the year of Pokemon Legends ZA, as well as the Switch 2. It's been a long wait, but we sat down right here in the studio, right on this couch behind me, to talk everything about Pokemon Legends ZA, our favorite Pokemon games, Pokemon ports, the rumored black and white remakes, really what that would look like. I think these guys have a really unique perspective as people who are not creators and don't spend their entire lives yapping about Pokemon, but rather truly playing the games. I think they offer a really grounded perspective when it comes to the current state of Pokemon. This was a really fun conversation to have, a podcast to record in the studio in person, and my dog is in the entire video. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and yeah, enjoy the conversation. Guys, thanks for being here with me today. What are your predictions for 2025? Let's start with that.
I predict that Legends EA will have a full competitive scene within it. Like, battles will return to normal. Like Pokemon Legends Arceus, that was my only gripe with it, is that the battles just, I'm a Nuzlocker. I like doing some, online laddering stuff. Like, in Legends Arceus, like, I just couldn't battle.
Yeah. I think that was one of the big parts about Legends Arceus. It was like, yeah, it's great. It has this aesthetic to it, but there's no battling. Like, once I beat the game, it was like, okay, it's good, but that's about it. Like, maybe you can shiny hunt, but battling is like, doesn't exist.
Yeah, and it's a game that did so many things well, too. But, like, for me, it's like, the battling is the mechanic. Like, even more than, like, that's where, like, they actually changed the catching in Legends Arceus, where you can kind of sneak up and, like, there would be no battle necessary. But so, like, the lack of emphasis on it, where it's like, ultimately, that's my favorite part, is like battling a Pokemon.
Your favorite part is battling, but I agree. Legends Arceus, the focus isn't battling. There's like a new gimmick within the battling, but the game, I feel like, to me, the value of Legends Arceus is the exploration. I feel like it's such a small scale of a game, of a story, the Pokemon selection. It takes something familiar, it kind of twists it and presents it to you in a different way.
Yeah.
And I think it's really easy to get lost in the world. And for me, Pokemon games, when they're at their best, it's full immersion. So I think Legends Arceus checks all of my boxes.
Even no battling?
I don't care about the battling that much. I don't think battling is necessary in the game. I think maybe what you guys are thinking about, and this is just my own perspective, that's all I'm saying. Maybe what you guys are thinking about is, like, for the post game, I feel like battling would be more necessary.
Yeah.
And
so go ahead.
Yeah, that's like, so there were obviously no gym leaders there, but, like, I also just feel like I never had a team in Legends Arceus. You know what I mean? I was cycling things out, leveling, evolving, and just really trying to complete the decks. Because basically it was a catch-a-thon and exploring, and I like that, but it just felt like it was missing one of, like, the core tenets of Pokemon, which is, like, the battling. And in the context of the game, it all made sense. It, like, takes place in the past. Very, preliminary, like, interactions with Pokemon early on. Like, they, they're building society, and, like, when we saw the trailer of Legends ZA, there was a futuristic theme to the trailer, so I think we're actually going to be getting, like, that's where I see the, a big possibility of battling being reintroduced. Yeah. And whether it's like your standard, you encounter random trainers in the world, but maybe they just have an arena, so it's like, you go out, catch your Pokemon, and you go into an arena to battle, and it's very much a competition based. Like they kind of had that theme in Sword and Shield too, where it was like almost like soccer matches. Like,
yeah, dude. So I'm playing Sword and Shield right now, and that honestly is so undervalued. I think in the community, I think no one is thinking about those massive scale stadium. Stadium,
the crowd chanting,
presentations,
and then it goes silent, and you walk out.
Yeah, like, in the Pokemon world, battling has always been a sport. Why is it never depicted in the games like a sport?
Yeah,
it's depicted like you're exchanging, or like you're playing like a card game.
Yeah,
right. It's like you're always playing these like backstreet like games or something, right?
Yeah, and I feel like Legends ZA, when it does come out this year, if it does come out this year, because there is
Legends ZA,
there is a possibility.
Legends ZA is never
know.
This year.
But I think it's going to be more like focused and be like, okay, yeah, you don't have the whole Kalos region, but Lumio City can be expanded upon and made bigger, and it's like Paris is one of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah,
if not, it's like probably in the top 5. So I think having it set in Lumio City. Do we know when it's happening? Like,
Legends ZA?
Yeah, it has been confirmed.
I'm sorry, the time period that it takes place in?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we know at all. I don't think we know at all.
There was like the futuristic theme in the trailer, and like this is, I'm almost thinking more now.
Yeah, we're jumping all over the place at this point.
Because like we were talking about like the sport aspect of Sword and Shield and how it very much seems like sport. Like France is also very much a football country.
Yeah.
So it's like I think there's that even like maybe it's a reimagining where like they kind of bring that theme from Sword and Shield in there where it didn't exist before, and like it was in the 2D era too. It was like the gym, like it could never have that scale because it would just look weird in a 2D sense. But once they had the 3D element, then they had the ability to create a stadium, which was never really feasible. But I guess in the anime that wasn't really like what it looked like either. So I think between all those things, like that's probably why. But
no, I guess I don't know. I think there's a couple things running through my mind. I don't expect any sort of massive scale battling in Legends ZA because I don't think that's going to be the focus. But also, I think what we could take actually specifically from Sword and Shield is the scale of the game. I've been replaying Sword recently, and it's killing me, like in the best way, seeing our character in like seeing our character next to the buildings and seeing that the buildings, even just the door, everything is proportional to what it would be in the real world, right? And again, if I'm focused on immersion, that does a lot for me, right? When the camera's like real low and you can see your character and you can see the skyline of whatever city that you've just entered into. Yeah. That's doing a lot for me. And I keep hearing people complain or worry that Legends ZA is not going to be fun, or they can't imagine what a game set in one single city would be like. And I think all we have to do is either look at other games that have done it before, like GTA.
It literally was San Andreas.
Yeah,
like
literally.
It takes place in one city. Yeah. And it's like, it worked well for them. So it's
you can do that, or just look at another Pokemon game where you have these massive cities that you can't actually explore that much in Sword and Shield. But I think what I'm saying here is that the scale is massive. I feel like in Scarlet and Violet, the game that we're playing right now in Scarlet and Violet, those games do not have a sense of scale.
I could not tell you like more than 3 cities, like because it's like when you go into a city, it's like most of the buildings you can't go in. The characters NPCs say like there's a little bubble. It says the exact same thing. Like it's just.
But for me, I feel like you can fly anywhere you want. You can get on top of a building.
That's pretty cool.
But it is like conceptually it's cool, but then like you get to the top of the building and you realize how small the city really is. Yeah. So I think there's a disconnect. I feel like fans just are not considering how. Maybe we're getting super off topic.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I've just been thinking about that a lot this last couple weeks playing Sword version. It's on my mind.
Yeah, and it's funny because Sword and Shield, like, I feel like every city was distinct and they were memorable. Like you know what I mean? Like, like Matt said, like I can't think of a single Scarlet and Violet city. Like none of them really come to mind, other than the one with the olives and you played the little soccer game in that. That's the one that
Alfornada or something.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting though because like I think there's games where like you have a game like Starfield and it has like 100 star systems and there's cities within that and it has like a vast world but it's empty and boring, so it's like it's really about how you use the space. So it's like if it's one city,
absolutely,
like you can make it fully immersive and cool, and like I think there's going to be an aspect of like helping build the city. If it is in the past, like maybe they're building Lumio City and there are like more wild areas that you go and then you have to like tame the Pokemon and then you can start building maybe an Animal Crossing type thing where you're like building environments and like you can build the city that way you want to. Like
I love the way you said that. You said it's how you use it, right? And it's so true. I think no matter what they give us in Scarlet in Legends ZA, if they just inject it with as many memorable NPCs, Pokemon moments, little side quests,
locations, like little
specific locations, right? I think if they just litter the world with all of those special things, like I think we'll all be content. And I think that's really what's missing from a lot of modern Pokemon games. Like BDSP feels lacking in that department. Scarlet and Violet feels lacking in that department. And there are there are moments in every Pokemon game, but I think overall, it's what you're saying, where like the worlds that we do have feel a little bit empty. And I'm starting to feel the opposite when I play Sun and Moon. I'm starting to feel the opposite when I play Sword and Shield. Looking back, I'm like, those are pretty. They have moments. They're fun.
Yeah, even like Gens 1 and 2, like they were very small, but they were like you said, they used
iconic
the space.
moments.
They like you know which characters are in which buildings. Like you know, like you can go to like Goldenrod City and like you can just go and like it feels like a true city.
Yeah. There's like the little flower shop, and there's the goofy guy in the
bike
bike shop. You
shop.
go underground. There's like specific day of the week events.
Yep.
That's all great. But let's bring it back. So I think I'm going to try to release this on a Monday. So maybe it's Monday when you're watching this. The Switch 2 is rumored to release next week. I guess it's been rumored to release every week, every day for the last year.
But it's a new year. It's 2025.
Yeah.
And they've confirmed it. Like, we know it's coming by March 31st. There's going to be an official announcement. So,
That's
like,
true.
we know it
That
is
is true.
absolutely coming.
Yeah, that is true. When do you think it'll release? Probably. I feel like people have been rumoring it to release in March or April.
I feel like at the latest April. I feel like it's definitely latest June.
Yeah.
April probably. June is the latest.
Yeah, and I'm not, like, a marketer or anything, but, like, I don't think releasing a console at the start of the summer when people are busy with plans and doing stuff outside, like, you kind of want to catch that tail end winter where, you know, before people get busy with the year, so, like, they have time to buy a game and actually play it before, you know, you're in the swing of things.
And also, I would imagine you'd want people to have 6, 7, 8 months to buy your console before the holiday season. Right?
Yeah.
So when the holiday season comes around and they're dropping new games, there's actually like an install base already there.
Yeah.
You're either, like, launching for the holidays or you're launching, like, with enough time to, like, because, you know, who knows how Nintendo's released so many games in the last year, and, like, you know, who knows how strong of a, like, you know, what the launch titles will be. I think Pokemon has a good chance. You know, ZA has a good chance to be one of the launch titles. Metroid Prime 4 has been long awaited.
But is it really a launch title? Because it's going to be... Well, maybe we disagree here. I think Legend ZA is just going to be a Switch game that's backwards compatible. I think Legend ZA is kind of like appeals to people like us, older people, or maybe like maybe people who are looking for something more serious in Pokemon.
Yeah.
If the Switch 2 is just like a better Switch, right? I feel like those two things are kind of aligned, and I feel like putting that Switch game or marketing it alongside the Switch 2 is fine. I don't think they need to put out like a better version or a Switch 2 version.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I kind of hope that it is like a Switch 2 video game, just because, you know, in replaying Scarlet and Violet, the performance and, like, the graphics are fine, but just, like, the frame rates that you see throughout the game, like, if the Switch 2 can offer at least like consistent 30 FPS, like maybe ideal state is 60 FPS, but I just think, like, going back to it, I have a really hard time playing it, and, like, just built the PC too, so I'm getting like 100 plus, you know, frame rates consistently. So going to, like,
and this is Scarlet and Violet,
and then going back to Scarlet and Violet, I'm just like, ooh, like it's rough, and, like, you know, for a, you know, development company of their caliber, like, I think, like, overall it sold well, but, like, they had to be a little bit embarrassed that, like, they put out a game that like became a meme. You know what I mean?
Probably.
Like, the developers are 100% people and care. Like, they put their heart and soul into these games, so, you know. And clearly it was just, like, you know, the strict schedule, like, limited their ability to make Scarlet and Violet running, like, super smoothly at launch. And, like, you know, maybe there were constraints of the Switch, like, that, like, stopped them from doing it just with, like, how they had to build the game. So I think with the extra time they've had for Legends ZA 2, like, we've had a full year without a Pokemon game, like, hopefully that, like, has been something that they're just polishing the game.
Yeah. And I think they can do that without making two different versions of the game. I guess what I've been hearing is that the Switch 2 will have something in it that is able to, like, upscale a lot of the content to make it run better if it is able to run better. I think a lot of games are, what I've heard, are built like that in that way. So I don't know.
I've actually I want to replay Breath of the Wild, and, like, I never finished Tears of the Kingdom, and I've just been waiting until the Switch 2, because, like, there's no way that those games aren't, like,
optimized for Switch 2.
They're gonna just
That's
get
so
them at 60 FPS, which and I'm just like, I'm holding off on my replay of Zelda.
Dude, that's crazy, and you could probably even use your old save data, right? There's probably gonna be a thing where you just transfer over your save data.
Can you play Ocarina on Switch, or is that only locked to the 3DS?
Dude. Oh yeah, you can.
Ocarina is on Switch?
Yeah, it's on the N64.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Oh my god, you're right. What I've been thinking, like, there's that, like, theory that, like, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are, like, spiritual remakes of the first 2 Zelda games. And I kind of like the idea of them making like, it's completely unrelated. I just think that's cool. And then I think, oh, well, what if they were to remake Ocarina of Time, but with like within the engine of like Breath of the Wild?
That'd be cool.
Like in the same art style, in the same like game mechanics and stuff. And they could just scope the game up a little bit bigger, but still have that same story as a through line. I don't know if you guys even care about Zelda, but that would be really cool for me. Yeah. I think that'd be nice.
I think the fans of
and that's
Zelda
like that's a beloved game.
Yeah.
You know?
I almost think they would prioritize something like Wind Waker.
You think?
Yeah, just because like I think it's like in this weird pocket of nostalgia where it's hard for a lot of people to play because it was a GameCube game, and I think they released it on the Wii.
No, it was N64. What do you say?
Wind Waker.
Oh, Wind Waker was.
Yeah, so I can't remember, but like that's a game that I've been able to play because I didn't have like GameCube Wii or anything, so I totally missed that one. But I think that'd be a priority.
All right, so I think so I love that we're just on agreement that like April is a good time for the Switch 2. Great, let's make our prayers, and then Legends EA. I would love if that comes out in the summer, or maybe it launches alongside the Switch 2. Imagine that. Maybe that's their big strategy. Pokemon fans are gonna go crazy. Or they just release it at the end of the year.
I feel like February 26th this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be probably one of the biggest Pokemon days that we've had.
Sure.
Because we're going to get our answers there.
Yeah. Dude, they got to give us something.
Yeah.
They got to give us something. It kind of drives me insane that we still haven't gotten anything.
Never rule out a curveball where there's multiple games coming out this year. Because remember when we had like Arceus and Brilliant Diamond and Scarlet and Violet?
Well, we talked about that a little bit.
Like in a short stretch, and like they've had a lot of time, and like I think a lot of it was to make sure like they want to get a game that's reviewed at like get a 9 out of 10 because I think it's been a while since like critical critics have really come in and given like a lot of praise to a game other than Legends Arceus. That was like one of the few ones, but like I feel like the rest of them have been like pretty.
Well, they don't innovate. It's not why we go to the game. We don't go to Pokemon for like cutting edge gameplay. We go to it for an access point. It's a portal. The games are a portal into the Pokemon world.
Yeah.
It's like in Gen 1. That's all we want. We just want that type level of consistency.
Yeah. It's like in Gen 1 where like you shrink down.
Literally. Yeah. That's
like you're immersing yourself in the world.
No, I love that. So the rumor is, there is a rumor buzzing around from the Riddler to suggest that Gen 5 remakes could be real. However, I'm starting to think he's talking about like the new Go event where it's like a Unova tour. And he's like, it's not this and it's not this, but it's this.
It's like,
and it's not Game Freak, and it's like, oh, it's Niantic, and but I don't know. I'm kind of split. And what you're saying about like that'd be insane. Mm-hmm. If like they gave us the Legends EA trailer last year to hold us over because they had to delay something.
Trailer.
And then Pokemon Day comes out in 2025, and they go, Legends EA is real, but we have another game that's coming out at the end of the year. And Legends EA is coming out actually in a couple months. Or something. Cool. I don't know. Cool. Like, I don't know.
Because I think like with the Switch 2,
I don't know how you do all that.
Yeah, I think they want to have a title coming out like at least close to the launch of the Switch 2. Because I think like it's also like they haven't had revenue from a main series game in like over a year now. So I think like they definitely want to ride that wave of like the Switch 2 is going to be insanely popular.
I never thought it's like. Is it possible that that Legends EA drops with the Switch 2? I actually never, and it's not like it's not like the launch game. It's just like
it's very close.
A launch game. There's maybe a couple other titles. Right. That would be insane.
Yeah, because like I think a 3D like we haven't had a 3D Mario since Odyssey. Which
oh my god!
In the first few months, so I think like it could actually and like that. What a selling point for the Switch 2. They want to get like
it's like Pokemon fans. You can play this game. But if you get the Switch 2, it performs this much better.
Yeah.
And they could do something. We talked about this. They could do something where it's like if you're playing on the Switch 2 hardware, it unlocks a like a shiny Zygarde or something.
Oh.
You would buy the Switch 2?
Yeah.
I would.
I feel like it's going to happen.
Regardless.
Yeah. It's going to happen.
You get a shiny what is it called?
Volcanion.
Volcanion?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing,
insane.
like Hoopa, Volcanion, Diancie, like those. I feel like Gen 6 was so shrouded and was so limited. It's when was the last time you used a Volcanion in a playthrough?
Never.
Yeah, it's like.
But that'd be sick.
Yeah. So I mean,
that would actually get me to buy it. I mean, I'm gonna buy it on launch anyways, but that would be so sick.
Yeah. I'm excited. Like, it's just the fact that it's happening this year, and like, if we're being honest, I feel like ports have to be brought up.
You want to talk about that? Ports?
I do, because I feel
we
like
talked about that last time you were on. It
either,
kills me.
It's either happening next year.
It breaks my heart. It's an outrage.
It's a slap in the face.
It's a slap in the
We
face.
shouldn't. It's like they're so available. Like you were talking about it. You have like Emerald. You have Sapphire, Ruby. Like
all these
classic games, and it's like
imagine playing Fire Red on a Switch.
Oh,
that it would be amazing.
No, and it's still like, I've seen people go online, you know, like
Yeah,
they made it work. Like it works like,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
well,
yeah.
and like they've been able to trade
But that would be
between
so
switches.
clean with the OLED screen, just
Yeah.
bright and like handheld. Pop it. Like we were talking earlier today about like you want to get a GameCube with the GBA adapter so you can play it on the big screen.
Right.
And I think there's nothing better than playing Gen 3 on a big screen on my GameCube.
Yeah. It looks
Yeah.
so clean. Like
So
it looks
clean.
polished.
Save me from having to buy a GameCube, the adapter, and like.
But they could
Memory
also,
card.
but then they could also, if they actually port those games, they could unlock all of the locked, like currently locked events, like
Yeah.
Celebi, or not Celebi. It's Mew. You get Lugia or Ho-Oh. You can get Deoxys.
Deoxys,
You get the Eon ticket.
Latios and Latios.
Like there's so many events in Emerald and Ruby and Sapphire, in Fire Red Leaf Green that you can unlock, allow players to you know, not even re-experience, but experience for the first time. Because as a kid, I couldn't go to Japan. I couldn't go to Pokemon Worlds 2004.
Yeah, in New York for like
That
10
didn't even
days.
exist.
I bricked my Emerald cartridge because I used the Game Shark. I had no idea what it was doing.
yeah.
I was like, I want a Jirachi.
Yeah,
It was
Dead.
I kept getting bad eggs.
Yeah.
God.
R.I.P.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think that is happening. But for the timeline, I think that's not happening. I don't think ports will actually be. I think there's an opportunity for them to maybe like what if we don't get black and white remakes and they just go, here's a black and white port.
I'd be okay with that.
I'd be so
Just
happy
those
with
games
that.
specifically?
Black and white, and then they go black 2 and white 2 are coming out as well. Ports, you just buy the ports.
Yeah,
I'll be happy with
take
that.
my
Something
money.
is better. Yeah, literally, yeah.
Take my money. Like,
Yeah.
Because ultimately, I think the tough part there is there were 2 screens on the DS, so I think
No.
it's a tricky.
No. I just showed you.
Yeah?
I just showed you what that could look like. Right? You could like flip between modes where it's like full screen,
Yeah.
top screen, or you just
Or
you cut them up.
Top screen is on the TV.
Top screen
and
is
the
bigger.
touch screen
Oh,
is your
yeah.
handheld.
Yeah.
which is true. It's like we don't
Do we know what it looks like
we
with
don't
Switch
even
2?
know what the Switch 2 could be. Like, what if that's actually a functionality?
Yeah.
What if it actually is more similar to a Wii U, where you cast? I don't actually know. There's so many leaks online, but where you could like cast the top screen onto the TV, and then on the bottom screen is your handheld.
Yeah. I mean, the 3DS was great. Like,
Yeah.
if they kept it simple like that, like, it was still so good. Like,
I played the 3DS
You could play
all the time.
Gens 1 through 7.
Yeah.
I know.
So.
I like the 3DS. I like the form factor of the original DS a little better. I wish I could just get, because like I have what is it, the DS Lite that had the GBA cartridge.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the screen on that is like a little bit brighter than
Yeah.
the DSi's or the like fat Nintendo DS, whatever
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
called.
the old
The
one.
DSi is my favorite console. I think.
Yeah, so
Just for how sleek it is.
It was for me, but then I got a DS Lite. I got this like cool, like light
Nice.
blue, like
Nice.
one,
And
the
being
screen
able to
just-
play both.
It's a little
Yeah.
bit better.
Yeah.
But now the black DSi I have that matte finish.
Yeah,
is
that's
just,
nice.
It's
That's
classic.
cool. So
Wow.
good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think ports are coming. I think we could get some sort of like port bundle or a big port launch on the 30th year anniversary.
I could even see it being.
That's
like,
where I'm at.
Yeah,
It could be
I agree. I agree.
It could be a separate service where you literally pay like
But I don't wanna
$10.
do that.
I'd pay $10 a year to just have like an
Oh.
app on my Switch. That
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I think they're
The
just trying to,
Pokemon app.
Yeah, because I think Game Freak kind of wants like their share, where it's like how much are they like if they
Yeah.
just added it to NSO,
Yeah.
like what cut are they actually getting of that? And I think Game Freak, they're partnered with Nintendo, but they are independent, and they just
Yeah.
want to make sure that like
Yeah.
they can get their share. Where it's like they're probably not getting like as much money as they could if they just sold individual
Yeah.
like you just purchase the
Yeah.
the game itself, but.
Dude, I could.
I'm still not. I think remake, remaster, something is still possible because I still think the 2-screen thing is a difficult, like from a immediate port.
Yeah.
I think that might be.
You still have to do
difficult
something to make it functional.
Because I've tried getting emulators going on my laptop and like
Yeah.
the DS is a bit more of a beast than like just doing like Game Boy Advance or something.
You have two screens to worry about. There's the touchscreen aspect.
Yeah.
They could work around it. I'm not like. I think if they want to do it, they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
and
it's that simple.
Like they'll figure out a new system. But let's go back to Legends ZA. Okay. I feel like we're like dancing around the topic. Yeah, what do you guys want to see in Legends ZA? No battle. You want to see battling?
We'll see battling.
I've actually been brewing on it over the last 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Like, all right, so we haven't had a Pokemon Coliseum game in a long time. So what if they just baked in an arena that was like a tournament mode that allowed you to like basically like maybe in even a more immediate way where you could just like set EVs or something quickly, where something like that. But like I think that would be like pretty feasible, and it's a way to integrate like battling, because like maybe you don't have like battles with trainers throughout the world as much. It's like kind of a similar wild area that was in Arceus, but like
dude,
if it's focused in a container,
but like that it's the like
because Coliseum was an RPG that you play through. And then there's a battle mode.
And imagine, like, this is the creation of battles, where, like, they're actually organizing it, and, like, it's the original, like, Elite Four
so cool.
champion tournament, something like that.
That's awesome. A fun idea.
Because, like, the whole thing was just, like, all right, Arceus was all about, like, this is our first interaction with Pokemon, where they're dangerous, like, we don't know how to tame them.
Right.
And this is just, like, a little bit further ahead, and now they're like, how do we, like, create a competition out of this? Because they're our friends now, and, like, we know how to, like, catch these things.
That's a fun idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
So upstairs, you said something to me, and I want to believe it. You were talking about how like that Legends ZA should have some sort of battle functionality, and I kind of pushed back, but then I don't even know what you said or if I just thought of it. I don't really know, but I think the thing that I always feel resistant to is the idea of Scarlet and Violet being the main battle format for the next 2 years. Like, that feels a little tired at this point.
Yeah, it feels too much, and it's exhausting. Like, I mean, Gen 8 was what, 2019 to 2022?
Yeah.
I feel like that was a long enough time.
Yeah, it's 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like...
And in the past, they've split it up between 2 games, right? It'll be like Diamond and Pearl is the main thing, and then it's Heart Gold, and then it's Platinum, or whatever the rollout is, right? It's black and white, and then it's black and 2 is the format. It's X and Y, and then ORAS is the format. And things changed a little bit in Gen 8.
Yeah.
And now we're just stuck with Scarlet and Violet.
Which is fine, but it's like, people are, like you said, people are going to get bored. It's going to be exhausting.
And if they introduce Megas, dude, honestly, it's crazy. If they introduce Megas,
have to.
I would think, okay, if Scarlet and Violet is still the main battle format, patch Scarlet and Violet so Megas are available.
Yeah.
Imagine we're playing Scarlet and Violet upstairs with Megas. That would be insane.
Yeah, that's
or the easier thing would be to just like make a battle. Man, Legends ZA, what if it really is the new battle format in its standard rules?
Yeah, that's why I think
maybe.
I just think there's no way with the increased popularity of competitively. Like, I think it's actually more relevant than it's ever been. Like,
that's what you were saying.
Every regional tournament is the biggest regional tournament that's happened.
Yeah.
That happens a couple times a year. So if you just leave that entire community hanging, and like also think of how much like money's generated from the YouTube content around the Wolfies and everybody out there.
Yeah, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button if you're watching.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I just think that it would be foolish of them to like ignore that, and then like if they didn't, like I think we would need another release this year of a standard, because I think like you said,
they gotta pump us up.
Like I don't know enough about Worlds, or like like that's like pretty important, where like they have a format for Worlds, and like they're gonna stick with that. So it's gonna be Scarlet and Violet until like that. I guess the season's over, but they should at least be setting the stage for next gen, and like whether ZA is like where the full-on competitive scene lives, like you should at least be able to start building your teams and like getting used to the new mechanics.
Like they have to give us something. Like this is probably the first time for any Pokemon game that they've given us one trailer and nothing else. It's like I don't even feel like I'm excited for it, but I'm not like thinking of like, oh, this is a new poke. This is a new.
I'm kind of not even excited anymore. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, I'm like, it's been. We found out what last year.
I think I'm a little.
Was it in February?
It was Pokemon Day last year.
It was like, if you,
I think you're right. I'm honestly feeling a little bit numb. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am excited because logically I know we're gonna get a trailer, but I don't think I'm actually like, I'm not shaking. I'm not anxious. I'm not ready.
well, I'm like, show
Like,
me.
it's gonna hit, and I'm gonna be like, okay.
Like, when am I actually getting this game?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, you show me the trailer, but I have to wait.
What do you think?
8 more
What do you
months?
think the trailer's gonna be? The trailer. What gameplay? It's gonna start with concept. Then it's gonna be game. Then maybe the starters pop up.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna meet the starters.
And then a little bit of gameplay.
One new poke.
Yeah. What? They start showing the gameplay. You're like, oh,
they
that's
got to
it.
show a mega, like because
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
such a clear thing. Yeah.
All the Kalos Pokemon are
Oh,
getting megas.
it's gonna be
Yeah.
Charizard Z. You know what I mean.
Bro.
No.
Mega
You're
Charizard
probably
Z.
right.
It's totally there's no way.
Yeah.
And then there's gonna be Mega Charizard A. Like,
Dude, honestly, that does kind of make sense if that's the selling point. They go, all your favorite Kalos Pokemon are getting megas.
No, they can't.
I mean, how many
favorite.
Kalos Pokemon are there?
There's a lot, but for megas,
The final
the
stage?
starters, Cal starters deserve the megas
Yeah.
because like I feel like what's the name of the water guy?
Greninja.
Greninja, like one of the like all-time fan
Yeah.
favorites.
Yeah.
And it
like,
kind of had a mega
yeah.
Yeah.
with the Ash
That's
Greninja,
true. Mhm.
right?
But yeah, like give Delphox and
Chestnut.
Chestnut,
Yeah.
my Gen 6 knowledge is strained right now.
Yeah, yeah.
It's been a bit.
Who were your starters in Kalos in your first run through?
Greninja. Yeah.
Chessman.
In my first playthrough, it was Greninja.
Okay.
But like
No
I've
fan
used
of
all
Cam.
3 in a playthrough.
Froppy's
Sure.
too cute, and then
It is
like you
good.
saw
It's
what
good.
like
It is good.
Yeah.
What Kanto starter did you choose on your Kalos adventure?
A Charizard. It was like kind of basically, yeah.
I think I actually did Blastoise. I did double water. I remember being like, I was thinking about doing a monotype water team.
Yeah.
But then, I can't even remember my team for that.
Do you still have the team?
Somewhere, probably in the bank.
I'm really trying to think what I picked.
Pyroar, definitely Pyroar.
No, for the
Castellate.
Kanto starter.
Oh, can't.
Do you remember my team?
Definitely Pyroar. Florges named Wisteria.
Yeah. Florges, Pyroar, female,
Yep.
Chestnut, maybe.
Not Talonflame.
I had Honedge.
Oh,
or
yeah.
like it's Aegislash.
Uh,
Aurorus.
Aurorus, that's a good one.
And then maybe another Mega.
Noivern, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I remember having a Honchkrow and a Malamar.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Those
That's
were
good.
two key ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Volmart,
Yeah, Volmar.
so good.
That's fun. What about you, Matt? Your Kalos team?
Kalos team was Greninja, Charizard, I think Gogoat.
Nice. Classic. We love that.
Yep. But then, like, I come back, like, years later, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use all 3 starters, Talonflame, what's the Eevee one? Sylveon.
I might have used.
Sylveon,
I might have
Noivern.
used it.
Because I'm
I
like,
think I did.
yeah, it's not my favorite, but it's, like, indicative of that time period.
No, totally. I
It's
get
It's
that.
very...
like the original fairy type. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like that's
Yeah.
the fairy type you think of. Like
It's kind of what I was thinking the other day. I'm like, we had evolutions in Kanto, we had evolutions in Johto,
Sinnoh.
nothing in Gen 3, evolutions in Gen 4, nothing in Gen 5, evolutions in Gen 6, nothing in 7, nothing in 8, nothing in 9. That's a big gap.
I know,
Yeah.
and then also like Eevee's kind of become like a mascot.
Yeah.
But it's full.
It did get a Gigantamax form
Yeah.
and a special Z move.
But it's like, I feel like Gen 8 was the right time to introduce a new type,
Yeah.
a new Eevee
Yeah.
evolution. Like,
They're getting with the typing. It's tough because I think they brought in Fairy to have an answer for Dragon and Dark types.
Yeah.
right.
So
But then bring in
it
Steel
just throws
type.
off the balance.
Bring in
Like
Steel type.
yeah, but
Bring
like,
in Dark type. Dragon
and
type.
that was the solve for Psychic overpowered. So
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like I think especially with how relevant competitive is, like they'd have to be very thoughtful about a new type to make sure that it didn't throw things off. Because now it's like Fairy and Steel.
Oh, for a new type, you're
Yeah,
saying.
so
You're
for a
saying
new
they would
type.
only introduce a new evolution with a new type.
Not necessarily. I think.
Okay.
I mean,
But that's why they introduced Fairy.
yeah, exactly. 'cause
Sure,
I think
not
it was just like
Sylveon.
dragons
Yeah.
galore, and then dark types were
Yeah.
super overpowered. And I think Hydreigon was just like they thought,
Yeah,
what are we gonna
so
do with this
good.
thing? Like
So good.
unbeatable.
Yeah.
Dark Dragon. It really was so powerful. I remember
dope.
being fearful of it.
That's one of my
Yeah.
favorite
Yeah.
Gen 5 pokes.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, Alex, actually, we haven't had you on yet. So what's your top 6 Pokemon? What's your
Top
dream
6.
team?
Number 1, my boy Marowak, Kanto.
Good one.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my my ace there.
Yep.
one of my sleeper picks. I love myself Ladian. I think it's it's one of my favorite bug types.
It should get a mega.
Yeah, there's this old TCG card and like the Neo set or whatever.
Yes.
Light Ladian.
I almost want to like look it up.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. And I had that as a kid, and I was like, this thing is so cool. And I put it on so many teams despite it being so bad.
It's
so
like
bad. Give it an evolution. Give it like a mega. Yeah, a mega. I would like look at that thing.
Oh my god!
I was like. Second grade, like got
That's
that
so
card,
cool.
and I thought it was so cool. So, Ladian's in there. We talked about earlier. I love Kingdra.
Yeah.
You have a shiny Kingdra, right?
Yep. I like Galvantula as another sleeper for me. Like, yeah, like I don't know if it's top 6, but it's definitely in my top 10.
Yeah.
What else? Can't go wrong with Umbreon.
Umbreon's cool. Malamar?
No, I mean, I like it. I think it's it's not my favorite design, but I just love its ability. I think it's like, in terms of like,
I got a lot of Pokemon
sense,
like
it's
that.
one of my favorite design.
You end up using it. It's a trusty Pokemon, right? Teammate.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's so unique.
And you start to appreciate it because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. What else?
And what's your favorite game?
I got to go with Leaf Green.
Wow.
I think I've just played the most of that. I kind of have two opinions. Like, Leaf Green's my favorite, but I think the best game is Black 2, White 2.
Yeah.
I just think overall, like, if you come in, like, not even as a Pokemon fan, as like, let's just say you're a JRPG fan,
Yeah.
I would recommend that game to like just like a video game fan
Really?
who likes the genre, because I think it just, especially that game, like, it has a lot of the fan favorites early on. You get Elekid, Growlithe,
Yeah.
Lucario.
Riolu, like, and they like give like Gen 1, like, you know, injected enough without it being like overpowering.
No.
Right.
They're like
was like,
yeah,
like give
it's
you
not
all the Gen 1.
Snorlax. It's not the starters. It's like the actual cool ones that you
Arcanine,
would get throughout your.
Electabuzz.
The only thing Black 2 and White 2 are missing are like an early pickup for like Nidoran. That would be incredible.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually,
No, I totally agree. I feel like the selection of Pokemon are really special. I think the biomes in Unova are so cool. It's so great to see the already diversity in biomes in like Black and White. But then when you go back, there's like all of these new areas that weren't there, and they feel unique. They don't feel like shoo-ins.
Yep.
And then there's also a sense of like scope, right, where you can get on a plane. And go to a faraway location that's not even available to you.
Go on a train,
No.
and then you throw in like seasons.
The seasons are crazy, and there's so many like rare spawns. Like, I remember when I was filling out my decks, capturing like or finding wild Politoed in the wild.
Oh yeah,
like fully evolved Pokemon in those like shaking areas.
Yeah.
And they're like really low percentage, and that was finding a wild Milotic.
Yeah.
Like, it's so
Crazy.
cool.
And also, I think one of the coolest like random mecanics to throw in there, hidden grottos. Like,
Yeah,
it's just like
yeah.
it's just like the 1%
cool.
chance you get
Yeah.
like an overpowered hidden ability Pokemon in there. Like, I just think like
As a Pokemon fan
there's-
for long play, it's so rewarding.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
sprinkle in so many things. The post game is unreal. You can get like an a overworld encounter like shiny hacks.
Oh,
it's
it's
like,
crazy.
There's all these things that just like make it so special.
And then PWT.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
the
you can
Pokemon
literally
World
battle-
Tournament. Yeah.
It's like what, gens 1 through 4.
I still have never done that. Like because
I've done it. I've played it a couple times, but it's like, I haven't like grinded it out. That would be honestly a sick stream to do.
Yeah, no,
To
I'm
actually
like
do that.
talking myself into because I finished like a White 2 playthrough last year or the year before, and I wanted to do like a living dex, but I kind of did like a fun like team of like ragtag, like some guy to Sunflora in there.
Dude, I gotta pick it up.
But like I think I want to do like maybe I'll go Nuzlocke route or just like try to build the best team. So
No, that's super
I just think
fun.
that game was like it found a way to like be nostalgic, and I think it was I played Black and White, and then it was probably like 5 or 6 years until I played Black 2 and White 2.
Yeah.
We were all in college, so I just like wasn't gaming a lot in that part of my life. But like,
Was
I
that
just
your
remember-
break, you think?
Yeah. So like, I just remember like, and I jumped into Black 2, White 2, and I was just like. It was
when you
so
got
weird.
to college?
Yeah, because like I had forgotten so much of Black and White, and it
Yeah.
changed so much that I was just like, "This is incredible."
Yeah.
And then even like the silly contest mode where you go to like the movie
Yeah.
studios.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
actually
Pokeathlon,
I
or
beat
no?
the whole thing because I wanted to get like fill out my trainer card, and I did the whole thing, and it was like the best one. I liked Gen 3's original.
Yeah, the
rendition of it.
contests.
Yep.
Yeah, the contest. this is the second best, probably better, because like there's a little bit of like battle strategy in there, you know, and like
and then enemies show up and they have like weird mystery types.
Right? Yeah, no, you like fight like a robot and like trash can. So it's like it's very like interesting to like where they integrated normal battle mechanics.
Yeah.
Into this.
That's so cool.
They give you a script. They're like, all right, you have like 20 turns and you need to like keep this guy alive, but kill him between 15 and 17 turns. So it's like
you're like doing the dance.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
you're giving the performance. Yeah, that's fun.
And it's like very much like how would you make a Pokemon act? You basically like be a good trainer and be able to control it in the scene. So I think it's just like
use splash here. Right?
Yeah. So
use your tail to jump.
This is all to say we need a Gen 5 remake.
Yeah.
I truly think like if they did it right, like it could be like I'm of the mentality like give me like high definition pixel art,
good quality.
Like keep it a 2D game. Like you don't need to go 3D.
I think it's so underrated, man. The 2D
art.
The 2D pixel art is so cool. I mean it's nostalgic for me. I have been talking to younger fans and they're like, I don't care about pixel art at all. Which is fine. I'm not offended. I'm just like, it humbles me. It makes me realize maybe that's something that we actually don't get. Maybe that's why BDSP came out as a faithful remaster instead of an actual like top-down 2D pixel art game.
Right.
I'm just thinking about it though, because like, I think in general JRPGs are becoming a lot more popular. Like, because like I think there was a lull where everybody wanted like Call of Duty action, first-person shooter games. Like it was
over the last like 7 years.
Yeah, it was like kind of like when Octopath Traveler came out, and then like that just like sold so well, and they made a ton of money. Since then, like think about it. In the last year, we've had like 3 Mario RPGs come out. Super Mario, like the
Mario and Luigi. You got
Mothership, Paper Mario, and then there was the Super Nintendo game
versus Donkey Kong. That doesn't count.
No, but why can't I think of it?
It's all good. Yeah,
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, but I just think like don't rule out like multiple releases this year for Game Freak, because I think RPGs are getting popular. They're selling well. If they can like basically like and a lot of those are like turn-based, not even an action RPG, but like a turn-based like pixel art games are cool again. Like there's a lot of indie games that hope. Sea of Stars did well, so I
see them all the time. Like when we were at PAX last year, like that's like half the booths. It's all like these like retro games. I just wonder how well they actually sell. They obviously have a niche market, but if Pokemon if it's a Pokemon game, you would think they're trying to like hit the largest denomination.
Exactly, and like I think like with like the popularity of like those 2D games, like I said, like Octopath Traveler, like I think like they're not going to be afraid of going back to a 2D game, because like that might like appeal to an older audience, but like they still are always trying to get like people back into the genre. So if you can get like a hardcore JRPG fan that like wasn't a big Pokemon guy, like just being like, wow,
this is cool.
Those are pretty pixel graphics,
and then you put the ports out on Switch too, so people now have a game to go back to.
Do you think ports will actually ever happen?
Yeah, of course. They've happened before. I'm only dreaming about them because they happened on the 3DS. They happened on the 3DS at the 20th year anniversary, and I didn't realize it, but maybe that's a pattern.
Yeah, I feel like next year's, if ports do happen, it's definitely going to be next year.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
Honestly, like, because I think they're always going to struggle with like the amount of resources that they have to invest into like getting the DS. I think they could get the DS games working, but like, I think like it's like very like I won't say very likely, but I think it's very much possible that Gens 1, 2, and then they'll bring in 3 because available as like whether it's you're purchasing.
I'll buy them all. I'll buy them all.
Literally, 100%. I will just take my money. Like it's all right there.
It's actually
they would make so much money. But
no, I'd pay $10 for like each of them.
I would pay $20 for each.
I probably wouldn't buy all of them if they were $20, but like,
I would buy them over time. Every time I go to buy an ETB, I'm gonna be like,
if they were $10 a pop, I would spend $90 day one on all of them.
That's true. But that's why they wouldn't want to do it. Right? They would want to like kind of slow roll it. I think I'm thinking about what you're saying. I like to you're bringing up things about Black and White too that I'm forgetting about because I haven't actually played through the game in a while.
You got like 4 copies back there.
No, I know, but I'm playing all these. I'm enjoying Sword and Shield. I just want to finish that.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'll go back to Black 2 and White 2. I think Black Black 2 and White 2 get a lot of praise, really just Gen 5 in general, for I think the wrong things. I think one person one time said it was like a good story, and everyone says that now, and I just don't see that at all. I think its value is really in a lot of the things we were talking about earlier. I feel like it capitalizes, or it's just like the best. It's a game that rewards exploration and long play. Like when you want to get lost in a game, right, and you want to get immersed in the world, there's so many different biomes you can pick. There's so many different Pokemon you can pick. There's so many different characters. You can relive older character battles through the PWT.
Yeah.
Right. There's something that I love. It's the only 2D pixel game where you can get a shiny charm. So you can actually have Gen 6 and up modern shiny odds in a pixel art game, and I was able to. I did that. That was like my 2019 mission, and now it's so much fun to shiny hunt in that game. Even though I have less dedication than like true shiny hunters, I'm able to like actually get shinies.
You got some good ones,
games.
shiny Yanma, shiny.
Yeah, dude, and those are all from the shiny from the shiny charm I was able to.
And then
get.
a full odd shiny Purloin.
There's double battles in the world. There's so I don't know.
Triple battles, rotation battles.
Yeah,
but like
it's literally got everything.
I think they got weird with that game, and it's like
they got legendary side quest missions.
It's the biggest crime that like those games specifically
sold the worst.
Yeah, and it's like when they like really put themselves out on a limb and did a lot of cool things, and like everyone in hindsight, like because everyone people are liking Gen 6 a little bit more now, but like I don't think there's this consensus that like
there's
people like Gen 6, but it's not like all of us, because I feel like it comes in waves where everybody once it hits a level of nostalgia where it's been long enough where you can look back and like I went back and I played Gen 6. Yeah. But like I lost steam through after the first few gyms, and like it's a game I want to I want to like beat it, because I think it does really well is like it's almost overwhelming number of cool encounters you get. Like every route has like 10 to 15 Pokemon you can catch, and like
early on you're getting like Absol.
Houndour's up there. Yeah. It's like
yeah.
There's a lot of cool Pokemon to pick.
Mm-hmm. So
I guess I'm just thinking like you're right that Black and White sold so poorly. Black 2 and White 2 sold so poorly. They're like the worst performing Pokemon games.
Did you like them at the time? Like, did you guys enjoy them at the time?
Yeah.
I think I did. I remember playing it and feeling weird. There's some Pokemon games, Scarlet and Violet, I had a similar feeling where they don't feel like Pokemon games, where I'm almost offended. Like, I start the game up and I go, this isn't my Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not because of the content, but it's because of, like, usually the art style that throws me off. I feel like Sword and Shield is, like, beautiful HD version of, like, the Pokemon look.
Yeah, it felt like a Pokemon game. Like, when I was playing it, I didn't care about Dexit. I didn't care about the tree.
It just felt like a Pokemon game. The art style was correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's how I think about it. But Black and White, I remember being like, I don't know if this is the game.
Black and
Coming
White,
off of Gen 4 and the polish and the vividness of Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I was like, this is not it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But Black 2 and White 2, I got that game, and I played the heck out of it in college. And that was super fun.
Right.
One thing Gen 5 I think does really well is the pace of the game, where it's like you're kind of like, you enter a route, the next gym leader that you're going to battle, he's like, you'll run as them, chat with them. There'll be like kind of like a little mini
story or whatever you want to call it,
like side quest that you need to like work with them on, and then that leads to the next gym battle, and they tie in the the bad team. Was it Team Plasma?
Team Plasma, yeah.
So I think that's one thing. I played it the first time, I think it was a senior in high school, and I just remember being like, I liked how quickly I could get through it, because that's like almost the time of the life where you start getting busier. You're playing in colleges.
Dude, that's a very real thing.
So, and I feel like I was just like, I love the snappiness of this game, where
I think Gen 3 has a snappy,
especially because
the quick pace of it all
so
works.
Well.
Yeah, I know.
But like, even like I love Hoenn, but like there's just routes where you're like,
oh no, I feel like Hoenn is quick.
But there's certain routes where, like, when you're going through the water routes, like, I think, like, the front half of the game is quick, but once you have to get that route that goes up to Gen 6, to the 6th gym, where,
Sure.
I think that's where the pacing slows down a little bit.
Pacing slows down, but I still feel like it's not in a bad way, I don't think.
No.
I think there's still so much more.
I think that's a fun route. Yeah.
It's like the first half of the game, truly, you get 5 gym badges, takes place in one half of the region, and just as you think you're wrapping up, you go, oh no, you have the whole ocean to explore. Right.
You have to cross over to Moss Deep City.
Not even that. Yeah, you go through the jungle area to get to Fortree City. Right, and then you have that like beautiful it's like a fantasy village.
I love when you
Right.
come
Oh, yeah,
out of
The
the
treehouse village.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
route to the right of Fortree, east of it, and like you're in the rain, and then
all
the
rain.
rain clears as you like get to the
Yeah,
next
that
city.
is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I think that definitely like I like it, but I think just like at that time in my life,
Yeah.
I really appreciated how quick and snappy Gen
Yeah.
5 was because I was like,
I've always no,
I got a lot of
hear what
stuff
you're
going
saying.
on, and like it was just like, and especially nowadays,
Yeah.
like I literally lost on the champion in my Nuzlocke of Black and White.
Oh my God,
so I need to. Go
I mean,
back
do
to that.
you ever consider that like a win? You're just like whatever.
No, I mean, in theory, I could like
You played
I
the
could
whole
go
game.
back
Yeah.
into I
You
could go
did-
back into my box and get a whole new team trained
Sure.
up. I hacked in rare candies. I did the lazy way.
Allegedly,
Yeah, yeah.
we don't know
Not
that.
confirmed.
We don't know that. Unconfirmed.
I know. I don't know what to do with those pokes because I used
Just
you know,
trade them up, dude.
yeah, that's where I'm like, okay, so maybe I just like because it's a legitimate Pokemon, but it's illegitimately trained. But I also think back to
I don't think it matters if it's
in
trains.
Gen 1 when you can do the glitch to get like a maximum
That doesn't matter.
rare candies. Like
Yeah.
that's where I'm like, well, I'll just this is my missing no. You
If
know?
you trade that, if you
Yeah.
trade that to Scarlet and Violet, you can just slap on an extra large experience share or whatever, and it'll like rare candy. It'll
I
be
think
super
when you
leveled.
if you do like EV manipulation or IV manipulation
Yeah.
through like and because like I kind of love how you can
Yeah.
I have a couple DSs and 3DSs, so it's like
Yeah.
I can do some jailbreak it and like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, I just love what you can do in a game to make it unique where
Yeah,
you're like
yeah.
all right, I can like basically 'cause one thing I've thought about doing, I haven't gotten around to it yet, it's like you get your starter, but let's just say you wanted to like have Sneasel as your starter.
Yeah.
You
Right.
could like even without manipulating the stats for it, you can just like take your starter, change it to a Sneasel with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stats it was given, so it feels real because
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
you're basically just like no, like in the like my headcanon, this is like
It's
I'm a
Sneasel.
Sneasel run, yeah, like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is what the professor
Which is
gave
fun.
me.
That's nice.
And
Yeah.
like that's where like with those like with my jailbroken 3DS, I can kind of create that
Yeah,
like
yeah.
unique run that just like nobody else has had, and like it's always a little fun.
I love that.
If you trade in a guy, like it's just gonna level up way faster, and it feels
Yeah.
a little cheap. You know
No,
what
dude, I
mean?
love that so much. I love because that's, and I think that was the big issue with Nat decks. Like, I feel like I used to trade up whatever the Pokemon is, I just like the freedom to have that creative control over my playthrough.
Right.
Right.
But
To
then you're being
pretend like
limited
I'm-
to it.
Yeah,
I
and
feel
I
like-
create a story for myself. That's role playing.
Yeah. Did you guys care about Dexit? Like, how did you guys feel about Dexit?
I think I was pretty pissed.
At the time, I wasn't because confession time. I don't have a living dex of every Pokemon.
Damn,
I'm pretty
it's
close.
Not
Alright.
appropriate.
I have about 1,500 Pokemon
he
in my
guilted me to get
Pokemon
one.
home, so
Yeah.
I probably have it there, but like
Yeah.
throughout all my games. But like
It
I
was-
think what I
yeah.
liked about it is like all of a sudden I could complete the decks like within a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Right.
like online trading was very easy at that time, and you could like put in the right code so you could like legitimately just trade for exactly what
Sure.
you needed.
Yeah.
So like for me, it was kind of nice to be like, oh, I can actually 100% a game like that
Yeah.
not like one of the early gens
Because not every single Pokemon needed to be captured.
yeah, and
Right.
like I'm working
Yeah.
on a Black 2 and White 2 living decks.
Oh, that's a good point. So you're
so it's
saying,
like, but it's so many games that I have to transfer
Yeah.
up, and it's like overwhelming. Where like I probably have to watch a YouTube video to figure out like, all right, which ones are missing, which ones do
Yeah.
I need to actually transfer up from like Fire Red, Leaf Green. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have all the hardware to do it, but like it's just kind of daunting, and it's
Yeah.
gonna require me to beat like probably 6
Yeah.
games. To
I
actually-
think
Yeah, that's
home is
crazy.
going in the right direction. I think I was really upset. I think it gets a little cloudy, and we start to forget why the Nat Dex was like so impactful. I think one, it was kind of just a signal of like the times changing, and that can just be scary in general. Like, like this is how it's always worked. Is it not always going to work like that?
I mean,
And yeah.
sorry, just to interrupt, but like you say that, but what about Gen 3? Because if you had Gen 1, 2 games.
Sure, but I was too young for that it to
Right.
even matter. I think that's what I would say. I was just too young for it to matter.
Okay.
I think in Gen 8, it was kind of freaky to have my team, my competitively trained Pokemon from Gen 7 and 6 that I had battled you guys
Yeah.
with, to have memories with these Pokemon. They have nicknames. I spent time. They're shiny, right?
Yep.
To be like, I don't know when I can use these next.
Yeah. Even like Infernape, one of your aces, like.
Yeah, and the first game after, all these Gen 5 Pokemon that I maybe had, the first game after Sword and Shield was, I guess they gave us the DLC, and that did open up
Yeah.
a lot of the Pokemon that I could transfer. But then it was
My boy
BDSP,
Marowak. Like,
which was, yeah.
Because like honestly, like.
But you got it with BDSP in Gen 4.
Yeah, no, like I wasn't super like disappointed for like I didn't think it was that bad of a thing. I know the whole community like there was outcry because like it was a big change, but I couldn't have my Marowak in there. But at the end of the day, when I'm playing a new gen, I'm generally using all new pokes.
Right.
Unless there's like the only prior gen pokes I'll use are like if it's like either one of my favorites or if it's something that I've never used before. So.
Right.
But I think also like I'm trying to think about the climate in Gen 7 before Gen 8, right? And it was like we're playing through Gen 7, you can have access to any Pokemon. Any Pokemon can be trained and brought up to be used competitively. Mm-hmm. Then Let's Go Pikachu comes out on the Switch, which is just kind of like a random game.
Yeah.
Then Sword and Shield comes out, and it's like you can't actually bring up all your Pokemon for competitive, not for like a playthrough, but for competitive. I feel like that's the issue.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then you have a Pokemon that's trapped until when? Scarlet and Violet?
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting too.
And there's still Pokemon you can't use.
I think one of the things they said too is like competitive is part of the reason that because ultimately the power creep just like becomes too much. I think like right now in VGC, no legendaries are allowed, and like there's just certain Pokemon coming up that have never been relevant in VGC that are finally like becoming that. But like that's where it's like. I feel like they use that as an excuse for Dexit. When it's like really,
and that's a different issue.
Yeah.
That's really lying.
Set, they can just create the rule set and restrict. Like, all right, this Pokemon is not allowed on the ladder right now or at any of the tournaments, and like.
But that creates bad blood as well.
Yeah,
when
that's
they're
where
just
I'm
lying
like.
to
That
us.
it's like I think.
Just say you don't want to do it.
The reality is, it's like they knew that they're going to continuously. They're going to add 100 plus Pokemon each gen. The resources they'd have to commit to making quality models for each Pokemon. Just was going to go up, and like with their release schedule, I think they were just like, we have to stop doing this at some point. Like, and it might have not been the point where they were like, oh, we can't don't have the resources right now. But I think they knew eventually, like once 1,500, 2,000 Pokemon. That's
and
just
we're there
like,
where we've hit 1,000 Pokemon.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just gonna be like that's an absurd like lift for them to do that.
Which I understand.
Yeah.
Like looking back,
It was
nearing Gen 10, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Yeah, but
even like DLC, like that was a huge thing, and like it brought in like Garchomp.
A lot of Pokemon. Nidoking is the one that stands out to me. All the fossils.
Yeah, Salamence, the fossils.
All right, so let's tie it into this because I think kind of what the direction of Pokemon is in these games is like having. I like to imagine that the direction is that they continue to release games that are like micro stories, micro experiences, little jumping points into Think of every game like a Hoopa ring, right? I want to hop through the Hoopa ring to go to Unova and experience whatever story that is.
Yeah.
I want to hop through the Hoopa ring into another timeline to play it through a game where the whole thing takes place in Lumio City and it's to scale, right? Like, let's talk a little Legends EA. We've hit some good topics today.
Yeah. And thinking about it, it's like, I just, I hope with the extended time we can get just like overall a higher quality product. Because I think like since they moved to 3D, it has been a struggle for them with just the tight turnarounds to like really push out. Because like Sword and Shield, like the graphics like weren't as good as a Zelda game. Scarlet and Violet, everyone knows the performance issues it had.
Yeah.
And I think this is the first time that they've had like a legitimate legitimate amount of time to like put together like a polished product. So I'm really excited to see like what that looks like especially it's like, all right, they're doing one city and like they're having more time than they've had in the past, which like starving us of content for a year. But at the same time, I think it could if it actually they pull it off, like it could be the best game that we've seen.
I really think so. What about you, Matt?
I'm excited, but like I said, I'm just when we do see news, I'll be more excited because I feel like it's been too long. Like it's just a lot of it is like show me. That's my thing is like show me that you guys are making a good quality game, and I kind of agree with you. It's like if they make a polished game, it could be one of the best games ever. Because even like Arceus, that was a great game. That's arguably a top 3 game.
So do you guys want it to be more like Legends Arceus or less like Legends Arceus? Because I do think, and I meant to bring this up earlier, I think we really could see Legends ZA be a lot different, and I almost don't even like this. I'm like, if this is going to be a Legends game, have all the same tropes as Legends Arceus, and I'm starting to think, I mean, we'll know in a month, right? Hopefully, but I'm starting to think maybe Legends only really dictates like the format of the story. It only dictates the fact that it only indicates that we're not going to be collecting gym badges. It only indicates that we're not right. It's a story within Pokemon that has nothing to do with your gym trials.
Yeah.
Right? In which case, that means the game could be completely different from Legends Arceus. As different from Legends Arceus as Let's Go Pikachu is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine that.
Because I feel like a big thing with Legends Arceus is like we all get nostalgic about it because of like the vibe.
It's all about the vibe. You're totally right, dude.
It's like it's winter. It's like a cozy game.
There was a snowstorm. It came out. I had it. First game I streamed on YouTube, and I'm like buckled in, snowstorm. I'm in an apartment. I don't need to shovel, and I played that game for like 12 hours straight.
Yeah, but even
so
like
much fun.
It was fun, but it's also kind of empty. Like I'm playing.
No
it
way!
No, wait. I'm playing it right now, and
how is it empty?
Because it's like, there's no battling, but it's like great.
There's the alpha Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's very open world.
Yeah,
and I feel like that can be a great thing. But it can also be a bad thing because it's up to you to decide what you want to do.
I feel like what makes it the reason why it's not empty when I play the game or it doesn't feel empty is that there's always a purpose to collecting all the stuff around the region.
Right.
You have to collect herbs. You have to collect apricorns. You have to collect like all of the rocks, all of these ingredients in order to make new stuff so you can use that stuff to then capture new Pokemon. To revive your team before you die, right? Because if you die, you lose items. And there's this perpetual like flow state that you kind of enter in. And I feel like, and maybe we're just different because it's totally. I remember when the game came out, I
wasn't a fan.
You were like, I hate Legends Arceus. I think you kind of came back around.
Yeah.
I'm not saying your criticism is incorrect. I don't see that because for me, modern Pokemon games, the endless battling ends up being the worst part of it for me. I'm like, I don't care to battle all of these like nothing trainers, and maybe it's the fact that like Paldea doesn't have like a distinct maybe I just get like it's hard to visualize the geographical land layout of the map.
Right.
When I play older games, I'm like, okay, Nugget Bridge, I know what Pokemon these guys are gonna have.
Yeah.
The Fisherman's Row or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That was an interesting part of Scarlet and Violet. Is like you didn't need to battle any.
I still haven't battled anyone.
Yeah, no, because I literally was like going around my Scarlet and I've 100%ed that game. I have a living dex in it, and it's like I feel like 95% of the trainers are not battled. Like I did the gym challenges and the 3 main stories, but
those ended up being super easy as well.
Yeah. So like
that seemed more easy to me.
Back to Matt's comment on like Arceus feeling empty. Like I think what makes it feel empty is like the geography doesn't stand out at any point. It's like there's a theme of biome, but there isn't
I feel the opposite.
There isn't a mysterious cave where
there is mysterious caves.
No, but I just feel like they didn't have enough of those things where there.
Maybe I gotta replay it.
Yeah. Also one thing the series has moved away from in general, and it kind of makes me sad, there's no more puzzles. Where it's like I feel like that was like a core element of even if it's the silly boulder puzzles or you go to the Seafoam Islands and you have to figure out where to push the boulders.
That's still fun.
Articuno.
That's still fun.
And that's a distinct landmark in the game where
because you had an experience in that location, you'll never forget that location.
And I don't think they've done a great job of that in any
of translating that into the 3D
Sword
games.
and Shield probably did
fair.
it the best
with the Reggie puzzle.
Yeah, Reggie puzzle, and then just the DLC maps just had more
or roaming birds maybe.
Yeah, and I feel like they even the wild area I think because it was smaller and separated into zones in a lot of ways there was just better they made the environments stand out a little bit more, and in Arceus and Scarlet and Violet I feel like it is a fun world to explore, but when I play a Zelda game I'll come across a unique tree and I don't know what that tree does, and maybe you can't do anything with that tree until you're way down but I feel like there isn't a mystery of this landmark I find in the game where it's I feel like I kind of just I beat the alpha Pokemon, and then I have access to the full zone
Sure.
until I get the next
So it's like,
mechanic or something.
So
And I think that's what they need to. They're working through.
Remember that, like, just to give an example to like listeners, in Legends Arceus and like the coastal biome, I'm imagining like it looks like a pincers.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're talking about.
It's like these two rocks that come up, and it looks like the
at
claws
the end
of a pincer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm always thinking to myself like, oh, this has got to be something. And I don't think I don't think it. I think maybe it does something to unlock Manaphy or something.
I
think you need to like pass through it at one point.
Yeah.
But
and that's really
it doesn't really do much.
Yeah.
But like I think that's what like
I can kind of get on board with that.
If they can integrate that.
There's the giant tree where you fight Cleavor. So I think why I want to push back is like, I'll give it to you. There's no puzzles. There's really not a lot of puzzles.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in Legends Arceus, there are challenges which end up making your story memorable. And that's the alpha Pokemon. That's the nobles.
Yeah.
That's the she's loving you right now. Oh. And you can leave it off of her.
It's definitely immersive, and I feel like it's
yeah.
a great game where you can go back. It's like kind of like a cozy game. You enjoy it, but
I love this. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Just like in terms of like Sword and Shield, like it's linear. It's more you know what to do. You know when to go, where to do, blah blah blah. But like Legends Arceus, like a lot of it is like on you.
Yeah.
There's some like directions and advice, but like you have to figure out like
that's cool.
Yeah, which is good. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a different vibe.
Yeah.
So.
And that's
to me, I'm thinking about like the music. Like when I have headphones on, it's like, but you can hear the
village,
music, and then as you're running, you can hear like the footsteps.
Yeah.
It's giving Breath of the Wild. It's so good.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely like that's what it did best is like the vibe and like the feeling you have when you're playing it. Like I feel like
that's the immersion that I want.
I was similar to Matt where like I started Legends Arceus and like I was very much in like a big Nuzlocke phase at that point, and like I was a little bummed out with the battling system there because they just kind of dumped it down and like it was like overall like you're just mashing A until you're almost dead and then you like switch or like
sure.
But
that's kind of
But I think like it did it did stick out to me. I was like, this game is different in a good way, and then like I ended up like beating it eventually and loving it. It's definitely like I think it. Other than Black and White 2, I think it's the second best game. Like I'm thinking about like what is the highest quality
over Heart Gold.
Yeah, I think so. Just because like I think Heart Gold does does things well that like Black 2 and White 2 do. Where like, it has that following mechanic. It does I like the fossils like that. Like in like I remember the first time I played Heart Gold, I didn't know you could get fossils at the where the unknown. Like there's little things like that, and I feel like they did a really good job of that.
Those are puzzles. You're
Black
right.
2 and White 2
rewards.
just like did it like a little bit better in my opinion. But
those two games, honestly, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and then Black 2 and White 2, I feel like are like, if they were just fused into one game, it's the ultimate Pokemon game.
Yeah.
The following.
If Black 2 and White 2 had the following animations and maybe had a little bit more, I like in Heart Gold and Soul Silver that like you can find the what are they called? I just feel like it feels a little bit like cozier. Heart Gold, Soul Silver feels cozier, where it's like you battle gym leaders and then you can find them later in the region.
Oh yeah.
To like just chat them up or whatever. And there's all these like returning characters.
No, honestly, I think Gen 5 like there's almost like a stressfulness if it's like everything is moving fast. Like I said, like that quick pace. You're like, all right, well I gotta get to the next gym. Like you know what I mean? Where it's like you can kind of hang out in Heart Gold, Soul Silver a lot better. Where it's like, oh, let me just like I want to search for a rare Pokemon here, and then, like,
I can hear the music in my mind as you talk.
Yeah.
And then like there's like the non-linear element where it's like Gen 5 very linear across the board. Like you're not really exploring much. Yeah, and like I appreciate that, but like Heart Gold, Soul Silver, it's like you can battle the middle gym leaders in any order you want, and like. Yeah, my only gripes with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, like it shares with Gen 2, it's just like they never fixed the level curve well. Like,
dude,
it's ridiculous.
It's not that bad.
Explain that to listeners because I feel like I've been bashing. That criticism. Explain it, and I'll say my piece.
So I just think like, first off, the non-linear gym leaders, like the levels of them don't make sense. Like Price, like is literally at a lower level than Jasmine, and like. I think when you get to the final gym leader, I just found myself needing to grind, and I think what it is like I have a really difficult time changing up my team mid game. I have to commit to a team, and if I like try to like level up something low, like with like throw a curveball into my team, it's really difficult to do that, and I think that's really
Shouldn't you? I mean, isn't that part of the challenge?
But I think like playing through it, but I kind of like swapping things in, and I think it's really just like adding something late is difficult for me.
Sure.
So like, I think that it's really not like the level curve, because ultimately like I can beat all the games are relatively easy. You know what I mean? They're very like made for kids and something adults can enjoy too.
Yep.
But and I think like it really only was difficult for me when I was like a little bit younger and would only have like 3 Pokemon on my team, and then I would try to add a 4th, and I was like, well, this is gonna take me like 8 hours to get this thing like you know to the right level. So I think like it's really just the fact that like there's not rebattling Pokemon or trainers is not easy in the game, which makes the level curve annoying. Like,
So it's the fact that like, and you're saying you like to change up your team as you go.
Yeah. Okay. Not all the time. Like
it's almost like there's not enough experience.
Yeah. So and that's
for
like,
certain play styles.
If they threw in a Versus Seeker, it doesn't. I don't think it has one. Right?
No.
I think you rebattle through phone calls, which is like
brutal.
It's an annoying mechanic to like where it's like I just need to like.
I need battles.
Grinding is annoying. Yeah. So like. It's honestly a game where I had more fun just like throwing some rare candies in there. So like, all right, I want to like, this Sudwoodo on my box. Like, let me add it to the team now. Yeah. Like, you know, and I can get up to like the.
No, I can kind of get on board with that because I think though like, what I like about Heart Gold Soul Silver. Yeah, I think I like that it's cozy. It doesn't feel like a competitive game. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of any of that, and I feel like the criticism of the level curve is. I feel like just something that was created by people challenge running the game on YouTube, and now it's like it's just like the popular community opinion. Where I think actually, if you go down and if you play Heart Gold Soul Silver, I don't think you're thinking about it.
No,
I don't think you're trying to have 10 team members that are optimized for competitive. You don't need it.
No.
And here's another thing. If you're under, I think the game's also kind of designed so you are under leveled. Your final match against Red. You're not supposed to have level 75 Pokemon. You're supposed to have level 50, 60 Pokemon, 60, and then the match, and that's why the battle is so difficult.
Yeah,
you know,
that's a good point.
I totally agree with that, and I think like the last time I played it through all the way was like I was in college, and like I remember I caught Raikou and Entei roaming, added them to my Elite Four team. Like,
of course,
no, it was a fantastic time, a very cozy game, and I think just like when I was playing it in the context of a Nuzlocke, I did have rare candy,
which is fair, man. Well, that's fair. If you play it differently, you're gonna have a different.
Yeah, it was actually that game was the reason that I jailbroke my DS, so I could because I was just like. This is a slog.
I'm trying to give you the benefit of the doubt, but you keep like, just like admitting guilt.
No. Allegedly. I allegedly did this.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
the date was here, the address was here, on this day, this is when I did this is my name.
I don't hide it.
Okay.
When I'm doing a Nuzlocke, I just do that because like...
Because you don't want to sit and grind.
No, and like sometimes like I'll try to do that. When I try to do that, I lose steam. That's the problem. Like if I'm going to actually like commit to a Nuzlocke, I tried to do a crystal one over Christmas break, and I was just like, you know, I've just killed about 50 Weedles. I feel bad for these bugs. And it's like 1 a.m. now.
I was playing...
I still am not ready for the second
No, you're totally right. I was not doing a Nuzlocke, but I was playing Yellow Legacy, and I played through the whole game, and I was having a blast. And then I found out that you could just like import rare candies so easily, and I was like, I won't do it. And then I did it. And I was playing hard mode, so I was still like level capped at a certain amount. But as soon as I figured out I could do that, I was like, I'm not messing around with grinding. And I think a little bit of my pleasure from the game just like evaporated.
Yeah,
that's something that definitely happened. It would probably be different if it was a Nuzlocke. Yeah, because the challenge is like playing out those matches properly.
Yeah, no, because like, basically what when you have the rare candies, what the game becomes is like a battle gauntlet, and like
and that's what people want.
Yeah, no, and it's just like you losing a Pokemon, you're just like, oh no,
I've lost this resource.
And you're like, and like you do get like a little bit of a connection to it. And you nickname everything. I mean, I nickname all my Pokemon now, but like still, it's just like you figure out like, well, I was really gonna use that in the next gym. You know, like if you use a ground type before you get to Watson and like Ruby, and that's where like I found that. When I'm doing a Nuzlocke in like Gen 3 and I can't get the rare candies in there, like when I do lose a Pokemon and then I have to go back to grinding, I'm just like,
Damn.
It's annoying.
Tough. Yeah.
And it's time consuming, and it's like we're all like at the age where it's like we have stuff going on in our lives. And, like we can't dedicate.
No offense to anybody that appreciates the grinding element of Nuzlocke,
Yeah,
but like
some people-
I limited time in my life now to just like it's where it's like it's not the most enjoyable thing.
Yeah,
and,
your
like,
girlfriend's like, "Can you come hang out with me on the couch?"
She's like,
And
no,
you're
I
like,
must
"No,
grind."
I'm battling Weedle."
No, well, yeah, and like the worst is like, what do you do when you are grinding and accidentally like faint one of your Pokemon?
I would say that
No,
doesn't count.
No, you can put an asterisk next to my leaf green win
Yeah,
if
yeah.
that counts because I lost my.
Because you're not paying
Nidoqueen.
attention. That's
Yeah.
not the challenge.
I literally spent 4 hours like grinding a Nidoqueen and then accidentally died to like out on one island, and I was just like, I'm not counting that. Like
No.
no one's looking.
Yeah.
God's watching, but no one's looking. So wait, Matt. So what's like one thing that you absolutely want to see in Legends EA?
This is gonna sound weird, but I think it's time. Voice acting.
That's cool.
No more excuses.
Yes, but I think they might want to save that for Gen 10.
That's fair. That's
Also-
fair.
But I love that.
Do we know if this is Gen 10? Is it the start of Gen 10?
No.
No, because starters are.
But
I feel
what
like-
if they do a thing? Because like, what would Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee be? Is Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee Gen 7 or Gen 8? Because it's the first Pokemon game on Switch, but it came out before the Gen 8 starter and that new generation beginning.
No, but you need the Gen 8 starters to call it a generation.
I know. So is Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee a Gen 7 or a Gen 8 game?
Gen 7, because they came out before the starters of Gen 8.
But it's on the Switch. It's compatible with home.
No.
So I propose that's interesting. What if Pokemon Legends EA is like kind of like a Gen 8, a 9.5 game?
Yeah, what do we is Legends Arceus Gen 8?
Yeah.
Gen 8,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird because they're so different that you don't really
So
see them.
different.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it definitely is Gen 8 because I remember transferring. Some
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
But like,
yeah.
you couldn't even transfer a lot of your Pokemon from Arceus to
Yeah, you
Sword and
could.
Shield.
No, you couldn't.
Right.
Which was like interesting. So that's where
They
like I
trapped
think
it
it
in that
could be
game.
like
Yeah.
a little long. That the more we're talking, the more I'm convinced that like we might get 2 releases next year and the official launch of Gen 10 after this year's Worlds. 2025
wow.
Worlds happen, and then Gen 10 kicks off in the
No
holiday
way.
season with 2 new games.
Wait, no.
That's
They're going to
crazy.
announce
So we get
Gen
ZA.
10 in like, what is that, August?
So we get ZA. I don't even know what it would belong to, but like that
That'd be Gen
happens
9.
closer to the Switch launch, and then potentially we get
Gen 10 at the end of next year. This year?
Yeah.
No way.
No, because I feel like the third
No way.
anniversary is
No
gonna
way.
be-
Gen 10.
But Worlds will be
2026.
done. They'll have an end of the competitive season.
I don't think that's enough time for them to like market it.
Yeah.
But they
like-
get Pokemon. Like, think about it. They have a year if they announce like they give us more details on ZA.
I think it's too much. I think what they could do is say
I'd
Black
buy 'em
and
all.
White 2 are out. or Black 3 and White 3. The Black
That would be-
Paradox Unova.
Imagine if
Yeah.
the launch of Gen 10 was a remake, or
Yeah.
that would be.
That's crazy.
Like back-to-back remakes, basically.
Pokemon Legends Indigo. The Indigo League. We go back to Kanto.
Yeah, Kanto again.
Do you guys think we'll ever? I mean, you guys your old username used to be the Gen 1er.
No, was it?
Yeah, you were Alex the Gen 1er. Remember?
But if
Maybe.
if
I,
you,
I thought that was so cool.
if you think about it,
You
like
spelled it with a
that's
W.
right, yeah. Actually,
Oner.
You're right.
yeah.
Then I switched to level 99.
Yeah, level 99 Pidgey is the official.
But like even like the remix of like, what is it? Fire Red.
Leaf Green.
No, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Like those are remakes of Red and Blue. And then you get Let's Go Eevee, Let's
Yeah.
Go Pikachu. Those were remakes of like Yellow. So I feel like the remakes of Fire Red, Leaf Green, that's gonna be the next.
Oh,
like a
that's
remake of a remake.
crazy.
It
Can
sounds
we go
weird.
back to the Sevi Islands? That's
Yeah.
kind of
I
hype,
mean-
dude. That's kind of hype.
We have to.
I like that. That's
It makes sense.
I
like,
love
and then we get a
Kanto,
remake
but
of Let's Go Pikachu and
It's
Eevee.
kind of funny though, because I love Kanto, but it's like Fire Red Leaf Green is like all I need for it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I like
You know
going
why?
back to
Because Fire
Gen
Red and
1,
Leaf
Gen
Green-
2 is it's nice, but like there's just like, enough jank in those games where sometimes I'm just like, all right, like
Yeah, I think Fire Red and
Yep.
Leaf Green, like it's kind of part of that, like in my eyes, golden era of Pokemon games where it looks like classic Pokemon, but it's still it's performing like as close as you can be to like the modern competitive. It doesn't have the physical special split,
yeah,
but
that's
it,
the only
No
thing.
but it
Steel.
functions pretty
I know,
much the
yeah.
same.
no fairy type.
Yeah,
All of the moves
it's
work
quick to
as
play.
intended.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think Fire Red and Leaf Green are really cool in that
Yeah.
way. What if I think if we go back to Kanto, a really cool way to do it would be to almost have that also be the Johto remake, where we start in Kanto and you go back to Johto.
That'd be cool.
You kind of invert what Johto was. Johto becomes and what's funny is you're actually playing it how it's to be intended, right?
From Johto or from Kanto to Johto.
Yeah, or maybe the Kanto game around the 30th anniversary is just a Johto remake, where you literally play through Johto and then go back to Kanto. But they could really make it a truly robust system. I think there's so many ways to modernize those experiences.
Yeah, it's just.
I really hope we would get a Gen 5 game.
Yeah.
Something in Unova before we get more Kanto. I mean, I love Kanto, but I just feel like there's so many different ways to experience it already. Where it's like you got Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4,
Gen 7.
And you get Gen
7.
Is it Let's Go Pikachu? Is that Gen 8 or is that Gen? That's
Gen
Gen
7,
8.
I guess. Yeah, but yeah.
But that was on Switch, so.
I know, we were just saying this.
No.
I think.
So I just think like
But those experiences aren't even available to us. Mm-hmm. We would need to have ports.
Yep.
We would need those games to be made available for us to actually enjoy those. Like we all have those games, but the new guy who's getting into the series because of Legend ZA can't play Kanto.
Nope.
You know.
No.
So that's what I think about.
Something I want out of ZA, and like I might have mentioned earlier, but I think there's going to be building, because we had crafting and Arceus, and I think that might be
we kind of had a little bit of building.
That might be the identity of a Legends game. It's like you have like I think the catching mechanic is like kind of like that's the core battle, and like
it's that like flow state that you go into.
Yeah, where you sneak around, you can
your Pokemon does stuff while you move independently.
Yeah, and you can like, and honestly, especially with wild battles, like I don't mind like the battle mechanics of a wild battle changing. Like that was never the fun part. Like I think it was a little fun to have the strategy around like do a false swipe, put it to sleep.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
And you catching a legendary.
It's
like,
a little more consistent.
That's a satisfying,
you have more control.
Like,
yeah.
But outside the legendaries are like a super rare, like when you find like a Matang in the wild in Gen 5, and it's a low catch rate. Like I think outside of that, it's not the most engaging aspect. So I think everything they did with catching and like the live action catches, that's a huge positive for the series.
Right.
And like Scarlet and Violet probably should have had that. I think because Legends Arceus was uniquely a catch-a-thon. You caught way more Pokemon than you did in any other game.
Yeah, you had to
collect those resources. And Scarlet and Violet, like they got rid of that, because I think like overall it's like you're not catching a ton in Scarlet and Violet. At most you're gonna catch the living Dex 400 of each. Like so it's like.
So Legends ZA could just be like running around.
But I think
catching.
I think you're building Lumiose City.
I think
you're like you're getting these resources, and like you need to like clear out the Pokemon, so you need to catch and like
you need
tame
to catch
them. And then as you get more,
they have those in Scarlet and Violet.
You have like an alpha that like comes in and like he like maybe you get like something that can stop the ground down and lay down foundations.
Yeah, wow. You have to catch the Pokemon in order to build the city.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, that's cool.
So then the end game is like basically you've built the whole city, and like I would love there to be some sort of customizing, like an Animal Crossing. You kind of
like Fallout, the Boston version.
Yeah,
of
and like
Fallout.
I don't want them to go too crazy with it. One. I like in Skyrim, like when you can build your house, and there's like basically you can like customize like the wings of it. You can have an alchemy wing or an enchanting wing, and like I think, but I don't want it to get too. I don't want to be sitting there trying to set up a wall. In the right angle.
But still, just have some options.
Yeah, so basically you can like build your own Lumiose City to some extent with like some creative freedom. But I'd like there to be certain guardrails in place. Yeah, but like maybe you build your home and like that can be fully customizable.
Yeah. That'd be awesome. Like if that was a thing, I would love that.
So I guess that's my my hot take. That like
that's cool, man. I like that a lot.
Mechanic, because
but do you know I'm totally with you.
Seem like things are being built up in the trailer.
Yeah, you see everything on paper with pen and paper, and then you see the 3D blueprints as if it's in like a creation software.
Yeah, it's like starting to come together.
Yeah, and then you see it actually be. I don't think we actually see it be built out.
Yeah.
No.
But maybe that's what we do in the game.
What was the message of Arceus? It was that like you're the first one to befriend Pokemon, and like basically like, you're teaching the society, like you're from the future, and you're teaching like these people how you can actually become friends with them, and like that's just like building that relationship. So in this game, you're building the society with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Where you're going that step further, and like that's where you get the modern day. There, people and Pokemon running through the city and living together in like peace. And like I feel like in the small village of Arceus, you didn't like didn't like.
There's not enough.
Yeah, they
set
weren't
up
there
already.
yet. Like within the context of the game, the story, like they weren't even building their own city. It was almost like a very small
Village, yeah.
Settlement.
Maybe like 20 houses, yeah.
So like, and I guess we would expect this to be a little farther in the future. Maybe it's still in the past. I don't know. We'll have to see how that plays out.
I mean, what if it's just like in the future?
Yeah,
that's
maybe
what
they have to
confuses me.
rebuild for some reason. Maybe
maybe
Pokemon like human relationship went down the drain for some reason.
Yeah,
and you're getting sent in to like redo that and rebuild
the future.
The city. Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe an evil villain group won and it created a bunch of shadow Pokemon or something. Like, you know what I mean? Like there
That's
could be
cool.
because if it is in the future, it wouldn't really make sense that like. I don't know
why
how
is it
a
Legends?
Legends game works within that unless because it was all about rebuilding that relationship with Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm like worried because I'm like, is Legends? Does that only indicate the play style? In which case, that's fine.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think we're gonna figure out what a Legends game actually is with ZA because like they're gonna stick to a theme and like it could very well be like they're it's just different every time you know. But like I do hope the catching mechanics are the same because like that's one thing where like I got over the lack of battling because I loved the catching mechanics of it.
Like, the feather balls where it's like you have to throw it and like they spin and it's like
I loved all of that.
Yeah. It was
like
fun.
learning how to manipulate.
Oh yeah, and actually aiming like a live action because like
it's like a shooter.
I love a turn-based battle
RPG,
system. Yeah, like that's fun for me. I love the strategy behind it. But like integrating some live action.
That's
like,
what we've always wanted. Like when I'm playing, the thing is like when I'm playing an RPG my whole life, when I'm playing a Pokemon game, I'm imagining the experience that they give us in Legends Arceus. And that's what's so exciting for me when we look forward at like future Legends games.
Yeah. And then like I think like even with like Scarlet and Violet, they took that away, which like didn't make sense to me because all they needed to do was like really like
have the
dial
aiming.
back like how easy it was to get that like live action catch because like. Again, you don't need to catch 50 of like every Pokemon to complete your decks. But like maybe you just make that hit rate of like sneaking behind the Pokemon, or maybe it's much harder to sneak in like so like.
Or maybe you get like a catching bonus if you sneak, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like or like they like get overpowered and you immediately engage in the battle and they're angry at you.
They get 3 attacks off you or something.
Yeah, so it's like I think there's a way that like if we just even look forward to like a future like normal battling mechanics Pokemon game, like they need to like bring in like some of those elements because like
because they were fun and they were immersive. But like, were you guys expecting Legends ZA?
No,
because that was the last thing I was expecting.
No, I was pretty much fully expecting
I was
Gen
Johto
5.
pilled. Oh really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was Gen 5.
Gen 5, yeah.
It just felt like it was time, and it's kind of wild that they leapfrogged it, and like. I hope
well,
they have
maybe
something special because like
that's why I'm always like, did they leapfrog it? Are we gonna randomly?
And that's why I'm like, I think like
I think there's a shred of a possibility.
I think there's 2 releases this year because I think they want one around Switch launch and they want one for the holidays because like I'm sure C-suite board of directors once their big fat revenues coming in and like
can't you just so vividly see Pokemon Day 2025? They go, you all know about Legends EA. Here's a trailer that comes out at the end of the year, but another game that you can buy in April is Take a Look.
And it's a Switch 2 game, you know.
Or I mean, they could still just make it a Switch game.
Yeah,
they could just make it a Switch game. That way, Gen 10 is like the first game on Switch 2.
No, and like even,
but it's a black and white game.
Yeah, I'm almost thinking like even if they like let's just say they did black white ZA.
Yeah.
No, but let's just say they're saying it's Gen 9. Even.
Yeah.
Like. They could just continue the competitive scene within Scarlet and then just feed out 2 new titles that like, because right now we only have 1 game in Gen 9 and like we had BDSP was Gen 8,
Legends Arceus, just Sword
Gen
and
8.
Shield.
So like if you think about it, they like Gen 8 had a main series, they had a Legends, and they had like a remake,
and then DLC as well.
Like they could do like the remake of Gen 5 and Legends. ZA and like they've it's the same number of games and like that would explain why they like were okay not having a game for a year because they had 2 loaded up.
Yeah, this was like a tough year. I feel like just
it
waiting.
Really was.
Like just like I mean, it was what 2015 was the last year that we didn't get a game, and it was like
I think I've been using it to the fullest potential.
Yeah.
I have been able to like replay games, and like we were saying, like I don't always finish them, but I'm still able to like jump into a world and kind of get a flavor of what has come before.
Yeah, honestly,
which you meant, honestly, to your credit, you do all the time.
I do.
You literally are
I'm
always
impressed.
playing.
Yeah, you always got to play through.
And when you say you start it, you're like you finish it within a month or two.
I try to. It's like even last year I played Fire Red for the first time in like 20 years.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. And I'm like, yeah, I had like shares with like grinding was horrible, but it's like it's still a fun game. And it's like because we're not getting a new game this year doesn't mean you can't go back and replay the games. And I think that's part of the magic of
and
those
so
games.
I've been able to do that this year, which has been nice.
And honestly, for me, it's like I've played a few like new series. Like I had never touched the Final Fantasy games, and like I was like it kind of like dawned on me like I love Pokemon, I love JRPGs, I love Nuzlocke.
I should like these.
Yeah, and so I was just like, let me
Dragon
try.
Quest.
So I tried Final Fantasy IV for the Nintendo DS, and it was like the difficulty, like compared to a Pokemon game, so much higher.
Wow.
Like, yeah, no, and it's very like it's so familiar, and like even like the names of some of the moves, where it's just like it aligns with like Pokemon moves, and it's just so funny. And the statuses, like you confuse, like there's all these like. I didn't realize they were JRPG tropes. They were just Pokemon to me.
Yeah, I know. That's
funny.
interesting.
It's
Yeah.
like, I can just confuse them, and they do the same. I can put them to sleep, and like it's just
that's
like,
funny.
No,
Yeah.
and then I even saw like inspiration that's bled into like live action, like where I play The Witcher 3 or Skyrim, and like a lot of the core JRPG stuff came from like Pokemon, Final Fantasy, and I played a little bit of Dragon Quest too, and just like so I've gotten to jump into some other series that like are in the same realm as Pokemon, and it just made me like appreciate it more because honestly I come back and I love like almost the simplicity of like Pokemon, where it's like I can kind of shut off my brain.
Dude, it's cozy. I think I try to like stress that like Pokemon is cozy, and that's why we're so like freaking anal about like all the like we get so like we just get so upset by little changes, and people love the patterns, and it's like to the outside world it's because we just like enjoy how cozy Pokemon games are. It's
That's
like I know what to expect. I want to turn it on. I want to go through this story, right? I want to go through this. I want to become this character, collect the Pokemon that makes sense for him or her, and then complete. Like I just want to like escape, right? Difficulty does nothing for me. It bothers me. I don't. Difficulty is for the real world. Let this just be comfort.
It's like there's like there's certain games that like you have to find the right line of difficulty, right? Because like when I was playing Final Fantasy,
it could be boring. That's true. We don't want it to be boring.
Exactly. So like you need to be satisfied by beating the gym leader. You know what I mean? And that's really just like the game design of like all right, the average person is gonna have battled this many people, so like we should like set the gym leader and trainers to these levels, and like this is the amount. Like there's a lot of like stuff going on in the background to make that everything work, and it goes like. But like I think just that turn-based element where I can put the game down, even in Legends Arceus, if you're in a battle, you can put the game down. I can go like make lunch really quick, or you know what I mean. There's like I think that where it's like I play some games and I'm just like I have to like finish this mission, and like there's no easy way to save at this point. But Final Fantasy was like kind of brutal with some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the DS version is specifically like really intense, where it's okay. Imagine a Pokemon battle, but there's time, so you have to like enter the inputs. So it's like you're fully engaged in the battle.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so it was fun, but it was like I remember like I just like couldn't go like get my toast that I just made while I'm playing, or like get another cup of coffee because I'm like I need to finish this battle, and it's really difficult. And like honestly, the final dungeon of that game was brutal.
Wow.
So it's so funny though. But I played that, and then I was like, victory. They have a victory road and a champion at the end.
Do they actually?
Well, it's like, but like their version of it, where it's like they have a final gauntlet where it's just a really long dungeon, and at the end you have the final boss. And I was like, that's just victory road plus the Elite Four.
Wow.
So it was just funny to see those mirror, like the mirrored aspects.
I kind of love that.
Yeah, so it's like
it is true. We just
recommend,
assume everything is just Pokemon.
Yeah, but like I would recommend giving like one other JRPG track, because like you'd be especially with some of those older ones.
I've played Chrono Trigger.
Yep.
Chrono it's been a long time. It's been a long time. I've played Final Fantasy in the past. But
yeah, the newer Final Fantasies are much more live action. So like they're action games now. So, but I think Octopath Traveler is another one.
Yeah, I think I struggle. I don't struggle with this, but I think I'm not usually excited to play other games because I so often want to play Pokemon games. I feel
Right.
like I used to spend all my time. She's just chewing a plastic thing. My dog, for listeners. Yeah, like I feel like before I started before the podcast, before my YouTube channel, I would play Pokemon games nonstop. Like it would rival you.
Yeah. And
Right?
I feel like even
We'd
like
be constantly playing new games.
yeah, even like a big thing like the pandemic was like a big comfort.
Oh, that's
for
all
me.
I would do. I would just
Yeah.
play games. It was great.
It was comforting, and it was like you knew what it was gonna
Yeah.
be, and it was like I could take a whole team and play in a game I've played 20 times before, and it's still a new experience. And I
Yeah.
feel like no other video game can do that.
No.
Like
You
Mario,
play through it
can't-
once, you got it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's what it is. It's like I think most games, while they are video games, and there is an element where you have a perspective or you are the main character in that story. A lot of times, most video games, because there's a linear story, it comes off to me like I'm watching a movie. It's a passive experience. And I think Pokemon is not unique to this. I mean, you could look at Minecraft, Skyrim. There's so many games where there's endless possibilities, right? But I think I do gravitate towards those games where the act of playing the video game is like, yeah, it's gonna be my own experience. Right. It's gonna be something that is unique to me.
Nicknaming your pokes.
Yeah.
Like, their movesets, like their levels. Like
Every Pokemon I catch is a variable.
Yeah.
Every choice that I have to catch the Pokemon is a variable. The movesets are a variable. The natures, the nicknames, the nature, everything.
No, I heard
the
somebody,
IVs, the EVs. The Pokemon I battle with my Pokemon are gonna determine the strength and the unique values of my Pokemon.
Yeah, and even like going off like experiences, like I went to the Nutcracker last year around Christmas
Dude,
time.
yeah, this is big.
And I was like, I want to play Fire Red after the Nutcracker. And like,
Okay.
I had this big fun experience, but I knew like I was gonna come to it.
You want to tie it.
And
to
exactly,
that
it's
real
now it's
world
like associated.
experience.
I'm like,
That's actually pretty cool. That's cool.
yeah. And it was, I think I named my Gyarados Nutcracker. So it's
I
like,
think that's about to. I think I'm gonna go back and play Black 2, and because
Dude, Gyarados, wait, sidebar. Gyarados is the perfect Pokemon for the nickname Nutcracker because it always has the open mouth, and when it shuts, it just
Crunch.
it kills you.
That's legendary. You gotta.
That's actually so good.
yeah.
That's so good.
If you got a shiny red Gyarados, that's like
Yeah. 'Cause
that's
Christmas.
it.
It's too good.
No, you can reinvent it in a
That's
future
awesome.
playthrough. You
Yeah.
go get your heart gold red
That's a
Gyarados.
good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Wait, so
Yeah.
yeah. So what were you saying?
So no, like I think like after today, this is my first ever Pokemon podcast. I'm gonna go
hell yeah.
start a Black 2
Yeah.
playthrough.
Yeah,
and, like I've been like loving Nuzlocke, but like I think like the most fun playthrough I've had is like I just made a quirky team with some some good Pokemon, some bad Pokemon.
the quirky teams are fun.
Yeah, no,
too,
and like one thing I do have with my allegedly jailbroken DS is I can get every Pokemon event that did happen at some point, so
Wow.
I can like kind of like I love getting like a random legendary or mythical in there, and it feels legitimate when I've reactivated.
That's so true because you get the game. You're right. It's legitimate because it was originally given away, and then also if you play through the game with the event. It is real.
Yeah,
it's as real as any other Pokemon because it has a memory attached to it.
Yeah, and
right?
exactly.
It's not like I probably won't even transfer it up and go through the trouble.
No.
But like it's like in that context, like why don't I experience this game like it like in the way it should have been? But like now I'm
That's
excited for
awesome,
that.
dude. I'm enjoying this. Yeah, I think we could probably wrap up. This has been Level 99 Pidgey, aka Alex, and Matt, aka Bedford's Best.
What's up, guys?
Do you guys have anything to plug? You guys aren't social online like that.
No,
active
I just
in
hope
social.
everybody has a good 2025.
Nice.
It's gonna be a good year. Hopefully we get Legends ZA, but you never know these days. So, yeah.
I'm gonna plug general maintenance. Take care of yourself. You know, change that razor head. You know,
Yes.
get that new toothbrush. You know, like it's like those little things. Sometimes you're just using an old toothbrush head for way too long, and then
You
you
get a new one. You feel special.
Yeah, just take care of yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, my wife got
Eat
me.
some bad food. Eat a salad the next day.
Dude, I
It's
love
great.
that. Honestly, that
Face,
is huge.
Floss.
That is huge.
Floss is a big one.
I don't do that enough. That's not. Is that maintenance or that's like a chore?
General.
Yeah, that's
Floss?
maintenance.
Yeah.
I throw it
Okay,
in
I'll
there.
do that. I gotta do that. I think I felt attacked on that one. I was like, I don't floss enough. Actually, here's the plug. You guys are in the secret Discord. If you guys want to get into the secret Discord, chat with these guys, you can join the Patreon or become a YouTube channel member. $5 gets you in the door. There's so much extra content that gets unlocked, like video podcast content that gets unlocked when you become a member. But you can also get access to our secret Discord, and there's a bunch of other perks on there as well. Yeah, we got to do a battle soon in the Discord with our league.
For sure.
I'm a doubles shark.
Yeah.
You better watch out for me.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm like 10-1 against.
My record overall is better since.
Listen, I'll take the
2005.
loss.
No,
You're too good.
You're
too good.
No, that is not true.
One win since 2021.
No, I won last year. No, this is false. Yes, I did.
Not on doubles.
Yes, I did.
I don't think so.
Maybe with singles.
Yeah, you beat me in singles.
Okay, so yeah.
I
have a better record overall, so.
Yeah. But I care about what's happening right now, and I just beat him today.
Yeah, okay, well.
My Don fan.
Let us know in the comments what your predictions are for Pokemon Legends ZA. And check out there's also an episode, maybe I'll put it right here, of me and Bedford's Best chatting it up from last year. We'll see you guys soon. Happy New Year.
See you guys.
See ya.